Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Hi, friends. What's up? I hope you're all in good shape and healthy, secure. Every time I say that, I think about all the insecurity and violence going on in the world today. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Really, really need to hunk down, do more Daimoku. And on that note, merit. The heck is merit? Depending on what translation of what book, of what sutra, of what you read, it's either reward or benefit or merit or good deeds or paramitas or there's so many different words. It's no wonder Buddhism is so confusing, right? Especially when you have all these different voices telling you how magical and mystical it is. There's no easier way to control a population than to keep logic, reason, and clarity out of reach. Make everything mystical and you can make eating a bowl of cereal enormously difficult. So everyone is always seeking your advice. And your advice, well, it's more mysticism and magical talk. So answers aren't really answers, and just collect those membership dues, yeah. All right, rant over. Let us talk about merit. Here's another word, punya. This goes back to Hindi, right? Shakyamuni Buddha discussed 3 types of acts that generate merit. Giving. Giving could be a whole series of talks on its own, right? What is giving? Is it money? Sometimes. Is it advice? Sometimes. Is it love? Should be all the time. Giving of yourself, of your sincere desire for amelioration, guiding others toward their Buddha path. Giving. Second, morality. Sila. Morality. What is morality? Oh, you have to learn morality. No, you don't. Morality is a basic Saha world human being respect for life. Morality is life affirming. Morality is the right thing to do. How do we know the right thing to do? Because it is humane. It puts human life first. Enlightenment first. But you can have no enlightenment unless you support the human sentient mind, yes? Another series of talks. And thirdly, mental development. Bhavana. Mental development. What the heck is mental development? Well, oh my goodness. It's a lot. So merit. Oh gosh, not a simple thank you, how do you do? It's pretty profound. That's thusly why we see it all over Buddhism, right? The ultimate merit is awakening Buddhahood. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. It's built in to that Daimoku. See, the more we learn about the Daimoku or Buddhism in general, the more we see, as Nichiren says, every character, Myo, Ho, Ren, Ge, Kyo, each of those characters contains the profundity, the wisdom, the knowledge, the Dharma of all the 69,384 characters of the Lotus Sutra. And beyond that, what all those 69,384 characters mean. Sometimes translated as reward or benefit, merit, its accumulation, sharing, and facilitating is a fundamental concept in Buddhism from early teachings and developed throughout the history and later Mahayana. Because of this concept's close relation with influence of karma, see the first volume, there can be confusion as to the implications of merit. For the modern practice of Lotus Sutra Buddhism, the three acts listed above should rightly be viewed through the lens of Bodhisattva practice. 1. Giving becomes the act of sharing the insights and skillful means for supporting of those pursuing of the Buddha path, as I said earlier. Morality becomes the proper mental attitudes and intent as relates to the Bodhisattva coursing in samsara with the Buddha mind, always contemplating the Buddha to be unflagging or influenced by samsaric distraction while maintaining the influence of the Bodhisattva. And mental development, represented by determined practice in chanting, study, and social engagement via the Buddha way. As far as accumulating merit, from the Encyclopedia of Buddhism, we know is simply to chant and chant with others. But according to the online Encyclopedia of Buddhism, generally speaking, punya, or merit, is accumulated through any positive action of body, speech, or mind, which we embody in the Daimoku, but it projects into the society in which we exist, right? Which is why we have the three modes. That is our interactive mode of Bodhisattva existence, yes? The three bases of merit, the Pali tradition, emphasizes three bases of merit in the Punakiriyavathu Suttam, the Meritorious Actions Discourse. The Buddha identifies these three bases as giving, virtue. Interesting how that word went from morality to virtue, kind of a qualifier of morality. Morality being a more general term, I think, than virtue. And thirdly, mental development. In the Sanskrit Sutta, Chanting Together Discourse, Venerable Sariputta identifies the same triad, dana, sila, and bhavana, right? In the Khuddaka Nikaya Itivutaka, the three bases are defined as giving, self-mastery, and refraining. Not altogether different, but refraining would require self-analysis and mental control, right? While self-mastery for virtues or morality would be, well, almost the same thing, but more about behavior. Later in this same sutta, the triad is restated as giving a life of mental calm and a mind of goodwill. So, depending on how it's interpreted, these three teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha are variously interpreted, right? But as I said when I started this term, none of these are wrong. They're just not completely full explanations, right? So for you and I, in this age of Mappo, it's important that we focus on all three, and without getting too particular and falling down the rabbit hole of words, simply instantiate Buddha. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Know that all of the perplexities and minutiae of these three facets of our actions, mind, mouth, and body, are synthesized or not synthesized, synergized. They come together in the Daimoku. Activities for monks. Buddhist monks typically earn merit through mindfulness, meditation, chanting, and other rituals. In other words, our practice of Lotus Sutra Buddhism. Activities for lay people. A Pali commentary elaborating on the three methods of Dana, Sila, Bhavnava states that lay devotees can generate merit by performing these 7 more specific acts. And see with me that these are just further delineation of the 3. Let's go ahead and read through them. Actually, I see 10 here. 7 more. So I guess 7 plus the 3 will give you 10. So you have giving, and it says giving alms. Traditionally, in the ancient world, and even through today, we do it here, don't we? This says giving alms. I think that's too much of a restraint on giving. But alms to lay people indicates the society at large supporting the monastic effort, right? But we don't have monasteries so much anymore. What we have is sanghas, and everyone needs to contribute to uphold the ability for the sangha to educate itself, to have resources, which is what I'm trying to provide here through these videos, the podcast, the website, all free, with additional resources with books and mandala, so on. And if you can, as a patron on Patreon or through PayPal, do more directly giving alms. Incredible merit achieving, yes, accumulating merit. Second, observing virtue. Be mindful. Know that your practice is 24/7. Just because you're not sitting in front of your Butsudan chanting or doing Gangyo, that's not the only aspect of your practice. You now have to live it. 3, developing concentration, which in this case is an interpretation of mental development. Not wrong, but it's more than that, right? Being cognizant throughout the day, that's quite a lot of mental development. 4, honoring others, an extension of our practice. Self-dignity and respect comes with dignity and respect of others. Their Buddha-ness, everyone's potential Buddha, right? Offering service, helping people. Be kind, be generous with your time, with your attention, with your sharing of insights about the Buddha path, the Buddha way. 6, dedicating or transferring merit to others, patidanamaya. Don't forget to laud people for their successes. Thank you just for listening to me, yes? Thank you. That's such an implicit validation of dignity and respect for both of us. I mean that, right? 7, rejoicing in others' merits. Oh, that's so wonderful that you've accomplished this or that. Listening to teachings. Study, basically, right? Instructing others in the teachings. What insights you get from things that you've read, listened to, heard, studied. Share it. Don't just keep it to yourself. Yeah? And lastly, straightening one's own views in accord with the teachings. If we chant every day, this just happens naturally, doesn't it? Don't you find that sometimes you study and you struggle with something, and then the more you read it or listen to it, the more it makes sense, the more you discover that your samsaric mind was leading you astray? It can be painful, embarrassing. But don't focus on that. Don't focus on the pain or the embarrassment. Rejoice in the realigned new mind that you've just achieved. This is the benefit of practice. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. It all falls back to the third, right? Mental development. So yeah, the early teachings, they enumerate it further, but we don't need to enumerate that far. It all just occurs if we practice correctly, yes? The wholesome actions, another definition of early, and this is coming from Encyclopedia of Buddhism, which is mainly focused on, quote, traditional Buddhism, right? It's all there. The Sanskrit tradition emphasizes a list of 10 wholesome actions. In giving up the taking of life, one will accomplish 10 ways of being free from vexations. Yeah, it's, don't kill people. Whoa, there's a new one. And not just people, but just any life. Is that life affirming? Sometimes it is, if it's the survival of yourself and your family, and you kill an animal so that you can have protein and meat to eat. Certainly. But just for the taking of life as sport? That's all ego, isn't it? 2, in giving up stealing, one will attain 10 different kinds of dharmas which can protect one's confidence. Yeah, that's something thieves don't think about, is that the more you practice yourself at stealing, whether it's ideas or material or whatever, you are really affirming to yourself that you're not worthy of receiving it otherwise. So it breaks down your confidence, which makes you want to steal more. These are basic rules of life. There's nothing new here, right? And this long predates the... I won't do it. 3, in giving up wrongful, including sexual conduct, one will attain 4 kinds of dharmas which are praised by the wise. It's another form of stealing, isn't it? Relationships. In giving up lying, giving up slandering, giving up harsh language, in giving up frivolous speech, giving up lust, giving up hatred, giving up wrong views. Well, again, a lot of this takes itself naturally through our practice daily. Wrong views, right? Those can be the embarrassing, painful ones that we have to let go. One can see from these lists that much of the development of these early concepts comes directly from elaborations on the Noble Eightfold Path. Remember that? Please also refer to, in this book, Eightfold Path. It was in the first volume. It's in this book. So, merit. Lest you forget what started this conversation. Merit. It's a complex encapsulation of creating a noble being, an excellent person, a great person, a Bodhisattva Mahasattva. But you don't have to study endlessly to figure out what that is. Merit, punya, reward, any of it. Just have the confidence that by your practice, Nichiren's doctrine, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, opening your pathway, your Buddha eye, that Gohonzon mind pathway of the Saha world, our sentient mind, you can experience full Buddhahood, which is constantly aligning all of those avenues of merit. It just becomes the way that you exist. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for being here. All the links in the description, different ways of accessing information, the website, the bookstore, mandala, all of that. Thank you for your support. Take care of your health. Please do that. Keep your practice strong. Savor it. And I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye for now.